Hello, my Jumpstart friends. I'm so excited to see you guys again, and I'm so excited to be back and reading the twins blanket once again. Just to make sure that we're going to have the most fun we can during our time together, let's just make sure that we are keeping our hands to ourselves, whether we want to fold them or keep them in our lap, making sure that we're using our inside voices and we're not shouting super loud, making sure that we're using our walking feet if we have to go anywhere, making good choices no matter what we're doing, and making sure that we are respecting everybody. So if somebody else is talking and you hear them, maybe don't be talking, and making sure that you are listening. And the most important one, and my favorite, is to make sure that we are having fun. So I know all of these things are going to help us have the most fun listening to our story, The Twins Blanket, once again.
Hi friends, it's Miss Maddie. Thank you so much for joining me today as we get ready to read together. The last time we met, we read the book The Twins Blanket. Now this book was about two twin sisters that were identical. They looked exactly alike. And because they were sisters, they had to share a lot of their things. They had to share their toys, they had to share their clothing, they even had to share their favorite baby blanket. Now I have a question for you. Have you ever had to share something with someone in your family? So you might have brothers or sisters or other special people in your family that you might have had to share something with. You might have had to make sure that they get a turn too. You know, I have two older brothers, and when I was younger, when I was little, just like the twins, I had to share my toys and clothing and even a lot of our things like blankets together too. We had to make sure we had a fair turn with everything. So today, as we read, we are going to remember all the times our twins had to share and they learned to get along.
Hi friends, welcome to Reading with Miss Ruth. This week we are going to read The Twins Blanket, written and illustrated by Haeun Young, which means that she wrote all the pretty words in this book and she drew all the pretty pictures that we're going to see. On this cover we can see our twin sisters here sleeping under this blanket. This is their baby blanket. So do you remember what happens when they're no longer babies? When they grow up, what happens to them in their baby blanket? I remember that as they grow up, they outgrow their baby blanket and they need to solve that problem by getting new blankets. So let's see how that goes for them. So here in this picture, we can see that they are look-alike twins. They are identical twins, so they look exactly like each other. They were born at the same exact time from the same mother. And they like to share a lot of things. So here they are identical twins, just like the twins in this picture that we have right here. And they like to share things, just like the two girls in this picture are sharing their chocolate milk. Do you remember what some of the things the girls shared were? Let's find out what some of those things were. So in this picture, we can see that they shared a lot of things. You can see that they shared some clothes, they shared their toys like their bike in this picture, they shared mommy's belly, and they also shared one more thing that you can see in this next picture. They shared their baby blanket. So in this picture, the twins are babies and they fit perfectly under this blanket. But on the cover, they're a little bit older and they still fit under the blanket. But what happens as the twins get older? What happens when they grow up? Do you think that they still fit under this blanket? Do you remember what happens? Oh no, the twins no longer fit under their baby blanket. They are too big to share it now. This twin says that they are big girls now. They are 5 years old. And they can no longer share this blanket because they are too big. Do you remember how the twins feel about no longer being able to share their blanket? Let's find out how they felt in the next picture. Oh no, look at them. They're pulling on the blanket. They're tugging at it. This twin says, I think I should have this blanket because I am the big sister and I can't sleep without it. And this sister says that she should have it because she can't sleep without it either. She's only 3 minutes older than her. So this sister is the oldest one and this one's the youngest twin. So I think they're being a little greedy, just like our friend in this picture. He has all the cookies to himself, and the twins want the blanket just for each other. So this twin wants to have the blanket for herself, and this twin wants to have the blanket for yourself. Do you think that'll work out? Do you remember what happens next now that they look a little angry? Do you think they're going to stop feeling angry with each other? Let's find out. Oh no, this twin says, I'm mad at my little sister. And this sister says, mad at me? I'm mad at you too. You are so greedy. So they're both being a little greedy right now, just like our friend that we saw in this picture who wanted all the cookies for himself. So the twins both want the blankets for themselves. They're being greedy. Do you remember what happens next? Do you think they will stop being mad at each other? Let's find out. So mommy says we should have separate beds now. Separate twin beds because we are big twin girls. Just like in this picture, we can see 2 separate beds. So the twins are going to get separate beds for each other, but they look a little upset still. Mom also says that she's going to make a new blanket for each of the twins. Do you think that will make them feel better? Let's find out what happens. So right here, the twins have their new fabric for their blankets. They have the new material to make their blankets now. This twin chose yellow fabric with flowers on it because yellow is her favorite color. Meanwhile, this twin chose a pink fabric with birds and flowers on it because pink is her favorite color. So do you remember what happens now that they have their fabric? What do they have to do next in order to make their new blankets? Do you remember? Let's find out what they have to do. So we can see here that there is a big tub full of water, and we can see that the fabric is inside of the tub. So they have to wash the fabric with their feet, and they are having a lot of fun. Do you remember why they have to wash the fabric? I think they have to wash the fabric because new fabric is itchy and it's scratchy and it kind of hurts if you don't wash it. So you have to make it softer by washing the fabric, just like the twins are doing here. They have to wash the fabric. So now that they've washed the fabric, do you remember what they have to do next? That's right, they have to hang the fabric up. So here we can see that the twins hang the fabric up on a clothesline and they use clothespins to keep it in place. And they have to hang it in the sun so it dries. And they both like their fabrics. This twin says, I think yellow is an excellent color for a blanket, don't you? And this twin says, no, pink is much better color for everything. So they both have their different opinions about what fabric is better. So do you remember what they have to do next in order to make their blankets? That's right, they have to sew the blankets. So their mom is going to take a needle, like you can see here. She's taking a needle and some thread, and she is going to sew the blankets together. So here she has the bottom sheet of fabric, which is white, and next she is going to take the twins' blanket and put it on top and sew it together to make their new blankets. And this twin says she wants mommy to finish her blanket first. And this twin says she wants her blanket to be finished first. But I don't think they should worry. I think their blankets are both going to get done soon, even though it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of sewing. And as we can see here, the twins have their old baby blanket here. Do you remember what they do with the baby blanket? That's right, they put it on their new blankets. So this twin says, "My blanket is so beautiful. I have my own blanket like a big girl." And she can't sleep without it. And then this twin says hers is even more beautiful and it smells just like sunshine from when they hung their blanket up to dry. So the twins are really enjoying their blankets. Do you remember how they feel when they have to go to sleep with their blankets? Let's find out. So the twins are now in their own separate beds with their separate blankets, but they can't go to sleep. And look at their faces. How do they look? I think that they look a little uncertain. They are afraid of sleeping alone, just like the little girl in this blanket is uncertain about jumping into the pool from the diving board. She's a little scared to do it and she doesn't know if she should do it or not. And the twins feel the same way. They're a little scared about sleeping alone for the first time because they're used to using the same bed and the same blanket, but now they have their own separate beds and their own separate blankets. So do you remember what they do to feel better? To make them feel a little less uncertain and to make them feel comfortable with sleeping separately. Do you remember what they have to do? Let's find out. So this twin stretches her hand out to her other sister, and her sister grabs her hand and holds it really, really tight. And they try to comfort each other and make each other feel better about sleeping separately. And do you remember if that helps them? Does that make them feel better to hold each other's hands? Does that make them feel better about sleeping separately in their own beds and in their own blankets? Let's find out. So this twin says, "I was scared, but now I feel better." And then these twins fell asleep in their very own beds with their very own blankets because they were able to comfort each other, and now they are fast asleep. The end. Thank you for reading with me, friends. See you next time.